And for today's YouTube piece is Mike Ting from the Right About Now YouTube page with his poem Coded Language off of the Slam Mania 2019.
Mike Ting, I love your poems. They're so different, you know? Don't get me wrong, those other poets were amazing, but they just keep talking about stuff that happened way back then, and your story is just so new. This oriental struggle of yours is something I can totally get over. I mean, behind it just...
Hey, bro, and like... off rip, like you don't know what he's doing, right? So it sounds like a performance flub up, like, oh shit, did he just fuck up? But no.
Well, I'm like, again, no. you hear the first crowd pop. It's like, okay, let's go. It's like you already hear, like, all right, I see what we're about to get into.
Yeah.
It's dope. It's like very eloquent in like you get it, like what he's about to do.
I've seen Mike live. I saw him for the first time at iWhips, and he's such a great performer in that, like, he has this like style that's so immediately charismatic, and like with all of the like sort of additions, the flourishes, the voice and everything is so, it doesn't look like over rehearsed or anything. It's so natural, but everything is like so spot on, and I think the whole thing just
hella rehearsed
pops. Happened way back then, and your story is just so new. This oriental struggle of yours is something I can totally get over. I mean, behind it just fits softer in my mouth, you know? Like my gums don't swell with guilt when I say your name, and your name, Mike, M-I-C.
So like, in a sense, I'm just trying to like process that one. Guilt when I say your name, as in like people, like victims of hate crimes, like POCs.
Word.
That's what I'm thinking of. Is that where it came from?
Well, I was also thinking of like how like white folks like tend to fuck up like names that are not part of the Anglo-Saxon like lexicon.
Okay.
And then feel guilty.
Yeah.
But they messed it up for sure.
Yeah.
Like a microphone, so clever. I too love taking a person's name and turning it into an inanimate object. Like when I call my black friend dog, but all the dogs ever had are dead, so I think the analogy still works, but you would know better than me, you poet, whipping up your stories.
How you poet?
I love that.
Yeah, it's like the shade, but if you just read the text, see that's the thing about stage poetry versus page poetry, right?
Oh, word. You can never convey that on a page.
You have to make it italicized,
or quotes, but you don't get the
that
feel.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
When I call my black friend dog, but all the dogs ever had are dead, so I think the analogy still works, but you would know better than me, you poet. Whipping up your story into something I consume without the burden of shame sitting like a knife in my stomach. More poets should model their work after yours, personally. I just love how you've taken your hardships and packaged them into these cute little poetic devices. And you're Asian, so it's not like you've really gone through anything that challenging.
Head flip.
You and I are here for the same reason. For the performance. To be seen for sight's sake. And while we're on the topic of creative...
So
that one's...
For the people who did not see this video, by the way, go watch it. Right About Now YouTube page. When he talks about seen, unsight, spoken, like he pulled back his eyes, kind of like how white folks make fun of Asian eyes by pulling them back.
Word.
And again, page poetry versus stage poetry, man. It's like you don't get that part of the... Like,
but also, like thinking about that line resonates with me too, like seen for sight's sake. Like the fact that like you as like an Asian American aren't necessarily like seen for a cause or seen for a moment. You're just seen to be seen. I think that resonates with me a lot.
But for the person speaking, it sounds more like a virtue flex.
You and I are here for the same reason. For the performance. To be seen for sight's sake. And while we're on the topic of creative expression, you'll agree with me here. I just think that there's a white way and a wrong way. Sorry, a right way and a wrong way. Sorry, I'm doing this. Look.
Come on.
You also know like that old reference to Abercrombie. They did like a graphic T-shirt that says White and Wong laundry service with like caricaturized like Chinese folks like doing laundry and shit. So like White and Wong Way, it's like that was a reference to that. Like it was like 2000s.
That's some deep cut shit.
Wow.
Yo, bro,
his just wordplay game is fire. It's insane.
Facts.
We're on the topic of creative expression. You'll agree with me here. I just think that there's a white way and a wrong way. Sorry, a right way and a wrong way. Sorry, I'm doing this. Look. Between you and me, I'm just tired of being unsettled by things I'm not really responsible for, you know? And if I'm going to be the target, I just want to be entertained, okay? I think I'm entitled to a good show for starters.
Love that pause. Love that pause, bro.
I think I'm entitled to good. Yeah. And you know what? But that's one of those things that like does translate from page to stage, because that would have been like a line break.
Yeah, that would have been on paper. I would have read that and had the same reaction. Like, damn, let's go.
His cadence is just so good at like stringing it together. When he like does the like very precise pause, and then he'll go into the flow is just so easy to follow, but so good.
And he's syllabically tight. Like you see a lot of performers that are line by line tight, and you're like, damn, I'm one of those performers either. Like even like this shit sounds good, and then this part sounds good, but he's like every fucking word is
tight,
right there and with intent, and there's a purpose to it.
Not a wasted word.
Things I'm not really responsible for, you know? And if I'm going to be the target, I just want to be entertained, okay? I think I'm entitled to a good show, for starters.
So good.
Can we please stop blaming all of us for the rise of white supremacy?
Bruh, one of like the most important fucking things that needs to be said right now. Can you stop blaming all of us? Like, motherfucker, what are you talking about? You just did it yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the problem, is you are the collective, and you don't get to separate. And just you don't get to separate.
Watch his like movements too. Like when you notice like the head twirl, like this. He's so good at like, it's not, none of it seems like it's like robotic. It's all like just to emphasize. Again, it's the stage thing.
It's almost acting, and it's conveying like the passive aggressive experience that he has to fucking live with. The point of it, like you're gonna get hit with all of this hate right now, and I'm gonna do it in a way that you can't be mad at.
See, he's poetic,
giving you that.
He's poetic with the language and the body language. Poetic with the body language. Let's go, Mike.
Come on, Mike.
For Hillary, okay, and she's not a supremacist, or can we cool it with the incessant reminders of this country's history of racial injustice? Like, where's the poetry in that? Instead, how about a beautiful metaphor and how you turned your 2-cent tragedy into $1 million perspective, or one of those nice list poems of all the ways you're actually going to better yourself. I want to hear how you overcame, not who or what or where you came from. Listen.
Damn, and that's like an important point, just socially really quick. Like that idea of like, yeah, we want to hear about like you being dope and embracing fucking and self-empowerment and shit, but we don't want to hear about like where that comes from. We don't want to hear about the non-white parts of your history. Or your culture or what you've drawn from. Like, no, if you want to be an American and go be great, we recognize that and we understand.
We want to see the cool, the shiny, nice, polished parts of it.
Yeah, but don't you dare do it in your indigenous language. Don't you dare do it like your grandma did it. You know what I'm saying?
Also, like just like that reflective wordplay of like overcame, came from. It's like
boom,
real hit, like a real slap, but real effective.
So good.
This is like this is like the Voltron, bro. This is every fucking part.
We get it. The colored child died, will die, is dying 1,000 deaths. But that's not my fault. I didn't pull the trigger. I didn't conquer this land. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me for judging.
Ooh.
You asked me to. Remember? Don't place the knife and cutting board in my hands and expect me not to make a meal out of this. And what is a poetry slam if not a feast for those of us hungry for the scraps your trauma left behind? So thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike, for offering up this pain that's so much easier to swallow. I hope you wear this 10 like a collar. I mean a halo. You're a good boy. I mean poet. You'll pass along my suggestions to your friends, won't you? I'm too scared, shy, to tell them myself.
Let's fucking go.
Right, and then like that ending, that landing pad is so dope. One of Rudy Francisco, his best advice is like, when I asked him about Slam when I met him, was like, focus on the landing pad. That landing pad was so dope because I also feel like brings it back to like, oh, they're talking to Mike. Like Mike is the safe choice. It's like, oh, I don't want to talk to your other, POC friends, your other Chicano or black friends because I'd be scared.
I'm scared of them.
But you're so safe and normal. Like, I can talk to you because you're Asian. I'm like, bruh, that hits me so hard.
And that last bit too about like being hungry for like the scraps that your trauma left behind. That like, Ooh, to like weaponize that, like the double meaning there, you know what I'm saying?
Triple
like,
entendre, bro.
Yeah, like we are doing that, like as traumatized people, as you're going to other places. It's almost like a support group sometimes.
But also
you know what I'm saying?
going to
like I'm
the
going to
slam.
hear their trauma and I'm going to survive because I know that there are others traumatized. But there are other people there that are just like trying to identify with something or trying to be a part of something or trying to be seen there and shit like that. And it's
but
like,
also going there for the slam and for the entertainment. It's like oh, this is for you. Like this is a tasty meal for you. Because
so
good.
So
this is life for some motherfuckers,
bro. Come on, let's go, Mike
Ting.
Oh yeah,
he's number one for a reason, y'all. He's number one.
Facts. I whips champ. All right. So with that being said, on 2-piece combo, we do review and rate and score every piece like it is at a slam out of 10. And Mr. Christian, as our guest, what would you give this piece out of 10?
Hey.
I feel biased because I know Mike, because it's like you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to judge.
So you're already disqualified. So for
10.
those that don't know, 10 off rip, of course. For those that don't know, if you know one of the poets,
if you're at a slam in building, right, in the building, and you know one of the performing poets, and you judge, they will get disqualified.
They will get disqualified. Yeah, but that being said,
to disqualify
Mike is about to get disqualified
from the pen click shit, but that's all right.
Sorry, but for even if it matters or if it counts at all, 10 still 10 for me.
10
yeah
word. I'm gonna like this has like every component it's still poetry, right? One of my big complaints with performance poetry is it often leans more into performance than poetry. It stops being performance and starts being a monologue, or at best prose. At best,
or rhythmic essay.
Yeah, exactly.
Acapella rap.
Oh god. Fuck out of here with your struggle mixtape bars. Use that shit to dump my ashes on, bro. Fuck out of here. Nobody even uses CDs. Gotta bust out my PS3 just to play this shit.
But he's not doing that, right? Like he is definitely poetic. Yes. At one point, he makes this point about being a poet and does it so fucking poetically that you're like, damn, like the
Mike.
Concept is just constantly being built upon and built upon and built upon from the fucking jump. I don't think there is any other score to give this but a 10. Like facts, like there is nothing in building at any slam, at any round in the slam. That's a 10, no matter fucking what. And he's not saying what he's doing, like with the piece and the experience, right, is flipping it on the people. He's not.
It's clever.
He's not doing an aggressive fuck you. Like he's doing a this is what I live with and this is how it is, and he's doing that as well as making very important fucking points and not just super feels like inducing points. He's saying
not pandering either. It's very real.
He's saying real important shit, and he's almost making the points that need to be made, not just like the emotional hits. You know, sometimes you'll hear people say shit and you're like, oh, that was an emotional hit. Right. Not to discount that, like, or the therapy in saying those words out loud, but he's really making a fucking point. Right. This is calculated, the syllabically calculated performance. I love seeing things that you see people do and it looks so natural and perfect and flawless because they did it a million billion times. You know what I'm saying? Because they put in the real work to make this look flawless, and he did. Yeah, that's a 10
from you.
That's a 10, dog, all the way.
Facts. 10. That has to be a 10. It's everything that I love. You know, it's like the wordplay, from the performance to his cadence, like everything, full package. It performs well and it gives you things that a performance would that reading it alone wouldn't. And he's really exploiting that part. Like he's exploiting the body language. He's poetic with the body language, bro.
Word.
Mike Ting, I Whips champ. We see you 10.
And
Thanks.
Still poetic, dog. And I think like one really just quick last point is this performance has raised the bar for performance poetry. This has pushed the genre forward. I'm going to hear this in my head and see this in my head when I go to slams now, which means that your shit got to be on point, dog, because this is out there. Did you know this is out there? Do you know people doing this, bro? That's fire.
For sure.